We'll get started. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Long's Coffee Break, our mini educational series where we spend 15 minutes boiling down an interesting topic to a kind of a bite-sized piece. Hope everybody has a cup of coffee or their favorite beverage. Just, keep it, it is working hours, so let's keep it all PC there. And today, my name is Erica Nishioka with the Security Solutions Division of Long Building Technologies. I'm joined today with Brandon Melseth of ASSA ABLOY. We're talking about wireless possibilities. Sounds exciting, right? Yes. First, before I forget, I wanted to congratulate last week's winner of the drawing for a $50 Uber Eats gift certificate. That was Heath Manley with Kidder Matthews. Congratulations, Heath. Hope you're enjoying that. And for this week, if we will be doing a drawing from folks who put questions in the chat. So I just opened up the chat feature. If you could submit your questions here, and then we'll do a drawing at the end of the 15 minutes for our winner for the chat. So thank you, everyone, for your attention. And Brandon, take it away.
Thanks, Erica. And thanks, everybody, for making time this morning. So I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about ASSA ABLOY's Apereo wireless technology. And just a little fun fact there, Apereo is a Latin word and it means to uncover or to open. And so I think it's a meaningful name, and hopefully it uncovers or opens up some opportunities here. And I think you'll see the possibilities and capabilities with it as we go through it. Again, to introduce myself, I'm Brandon Melseth. I am an integrated solutions specialist with ASSA ABLOY. It's actually a business development role, but my main focus is working with security integrators and supporting end users in all things ASSA ABLOY, helping deploy any of our solutions there. And I don't know if Tom's joined yet. He might jump in. He's my colleague. He does very much the same with a focus on the aftermarket and distribution too. But we're part of a much larger organization in the Northwest here. So all of us here to help you, and look forward to working with you if you reach out in the future. I wanted to touch real quick on just who ASSA ABLOY is. A lot of us are familiar with the name. What is it exactly that we do? Our company is all about door solutions. It's all about entrances, and we are the the world leader in that. So, but let's shift our focus to talking about Apereo. And as we do that, I like to show this slide because on the left, it gives you a good example of just the traditional door hardware that we're all used to, right? That makes up an access control system. But we want to shift that conversation to the technology offerings, the things that are out there, the things that we should all be talking about or aware of right now, like intelligent keys, mobile access, PoE infrastructure, integrated locks, etc., and also real-time wireless, which is what we're going to talk about today with our Apereo solution. But before I dive into that, let's watch this quick little video, and then it'll give you a good overview, and then we can talk about it from there.
Okay, sounds good.
And Erica, give me a thumbs down if you can't hear the audio.
Okay, I'll let you know. Sounds good.
Wireless runs our business, and it connects our laptops, our tablets, and our phone. It allows us to work from our desk, the coffee bar, or the lounge without limitation. And your doors should do the same. As your business is constantly adapting to new situations, you find ways to innovate, progress, and reduce limitations. Apereo is doing the same thing. We've removed the limitations of wires that connect your doors and provide flexible options that work anywhere, just like you, while finding new ways to protect not just your doors, but your storage areas too. Easily connect doors, cabinets, and people. With wireless locks from Apereo, you can manage users from anywhere, while giving them the ability to get where they need to go, giving you real-time reporting and immediate changes to users. With wireless locks from Apereo, connect without limitations and open a new world of possibilities from ASSA ABLOY.
I'm going to cut the music short. I know you were enjoying the tune, but anyway, move on from there. I think that gives you a good overview. In short, Apereo is a wireless technology. It's a platform that is going to reduce the cost of installation from traditional access control probably by a third, and it's going to give you all kinds of flexibility. And I should say, as we chat about this, that we're seeing entire wireless systems being put in new construction and retrofits out there. But I think it's probably helpful to think of this in terms of how you can augment or add to an existing access control system, getting to doors that you wouldn't normally be able to get to. Think like a gate, a brick wall, glass door. I mean, it's going to give you flexibility and some options there. So.
Yeah, definitely. I can see people being able to add doors to the systems they might not have thought that they could before. Remote doors and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so this slide, we've got a couple animations here. Here's your standard access control infrastructure, right? And the one thing we should add there is probably a power supply. And so you've got the system, the door controllers, the access control panels, but you've got all that conduit, the raceways, the terminations, and everything going to the door. Here's what we're doing with Apereo now, in contrast to that. So the access control portion is the same, but now instead of routing all that cable around the doors and the terminations there, we run simply to a hub.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a hub-based infrastructure, and it communicates wirelessly to the door.
Yeah, it's really clean, isn't it? Just really clean architecture. Not a lot of cables.
It's super clean, and it's not, obviously this graphic isn't to scale. That hub is it's about the size of a smoke detector. It's real small. It just mounts on a single gang box, and it's using the Zigbee Z-Wave protocol, IEEE 802.15, to communicate with devices. And let me show you this next slide, kind of showing the range here. Now, out of the box, that bottom right graphic, the signal that it kind of broadcasts comes out in like a football shape, and that would be perfect for, like, if you were going to put the hardware in a bunch of doors down a hallway. Mm-hmm. You can get long range. Now, the published distance is 50 feet. We know we can exceed that with that, but we always test it to make sure that everything works in the field. But if you're in an environment where you want to broadcast it in more of a circular pattern, you can put that little external antenna on, and it does that. So it works really well. Now, what about the devices it communicates with?
Hey, Brandon, we got a question about what the distance was. If you go back to that football, the donut slide, can you just talk about in general what the distances might be?
This one here?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I say, published rate is 50 feet. In Europe, they're saying 75 feet onto the devices. I'm not supposed to say this, but we've shot it over 100 feet, depending if it's open air, if it's down a hallway, it's clean. It's really easy to hit those ranges. But in general, you kind of want to keep it to the 50-foot range. What we always do is go out and test it. We have testing devices, so when you go out there and get it set up, you want to make sure that you're within range. And I should add that it goes through, we say 50 feet and through 2 construction walls too. So I've been out in the field, and we've tested this in a number of things, and I'm always surprised at what we're able to do with it. Any other questions coming on that before I jump to the next?
Yeah, Brandon, the question came up about what is the cost for this versus traditional hardwire. And I just jumped in and said that, the lock in a hub is about $2K MSRP, depending.
Got it. Thanks. And everybody, that's Tom Colley, my counterpart that I introduced.
Hi.
Thanks, Tom.
I was here. I just, like, you were on a roll. I didn't want to break in. So
we're always going to talk in terms of MSRP. And like I say, when it all breaks down, well, we'll show you some devices here in a second. When it all breaks down, what would you say the cost of traditional opening is? $3,500, $4,000. We'd say we're going to take probably 25%, 30% or more off of that on economies of scale.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And to answer the question, yes, it is Linnell compatible.
Yes, it is, very much so. So here's some of the devices that are different manufacturers like Securitron and Sargent and Corbin Russwin and who am I missing, Tom, that they make for this Apereo system. It's actually a global system. So it's not just in North America. This is something you can deploy globally across all the countries that Assa Abloy is in. But you look at a couple of those and hopefully they might pique your interest. You see the K100 cabinet lock. Think of like healthcare, think of education, lockers. There's all kinds of applications where now you can put access control on that. And I should add that those readers, those are multi-class readers, that everywhere from multi-class to CIOS. They're Bluetooth enabled, or they can be Bluetooth enabled. They come standard with NFC.
And then the glass door readers are really nice for, people with beautiful glassed in conference rooms or, beautiful walls of glass. You can put a reader right on that glass wall.
That's the coolest reader. I mean, that's an application where how are you going to secure that? You just simply can't. And now you can with the solution. No drilling or anything. It slides onto, it's got a clamp, slides onto the glass. And that R100 reader too is a remote reader. It takes 2 lithium AA batteries. It can go pretty much anywhere, just being within range to the hub. Now, one more thing, and if there's any questions, but there's a conspicuous space at the bottom right there of these devices, and it's been there for a while. And I think the reason why is for this, that we just released the ES100, the strike, the battery strike that's going to run us. And think of the opportunities you could do with this. The picture in the bottom right shows how the installation would go, working in conjunction with that R100 reader. So.
Also completely wireless, right? No wires to the reader, no wires to the strike.
So think of these doors that you just simply can't get wired to, where it's like you got to get down through the door frame. Now you just can cut in the strike and fish that. Now there is a little harness that goes between the reader and the strike, but that's it. And then with batteries, right, the question always comes up, what is, how often am I going to have to change the batteries? What's battery life? And what we're saying on this is 2 years or 50,000 cycles. So it's got a long life.
Nice.
So I'm sure there's lots of things that I'm going to stop there and let you ask questions if there's, any that you have.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for asking questions, folks. Is there anybody else that has any other questions that they'd like to ask? Brandon, you had mentioned Linnell, or excuse me, Tom, I guess you had mentioned Linnell as being one of the products. And then S2, I'm assuming is one that is compatible.
Yes, and I jumped right over that. So thanks for asking that. Yeah, so this is the cool thing with those hubs, and I neglected to say this. They come, like you could buy one off the shelf at ADI with a 1-to-1 Wiegand configuration. Anybody could go install it, hit a door. But with our integration partners like Linnell OnGuard and like Linnell S2, we can go exponentially up to 8 or 16 readers to one hub. So with OnGuard, it's an RS-485 connection, and you can daisy chain as many hubs together as you need on that at the capacity of your panel. And that is in a 1-to-8 configuration. One hub will talk to 8 devices. With S2, it's an IP configuration, and one hub will talk to 16 devices. So you could be in a really door dense, device environment and talk to all of them.
I think this really goes back to the question about the cost versus a standard wired application, because the concept that I like to put out there is once you get that hub up there, adding other, different types of lock sets is really easy, because like you said, Brandon, you're getting a minimum of 1-to-8, maybe a 1-to-16. So if you have an application where there might be a lot of room for new products, this is a great way to go.
On that note, we have a customer it's new construction, and it's in healthcare, and they are using this to secure what they're calling PPE lockers. And so what is it, like 300, Tom, that they're doing?
Yes.
Like that. And the integrators recognized the value of that. And so instead of just putting just enough hubs for those lockers, they're actually deploying more of them for future use, that they can reach a lot more doors with that.
Hey, Brandon, we've got a couple of questions. Oh, Yes, so the packet future file for presentation, actually, this is being, sorry to have failed to mention at the beginning, this session is being recorded and will be posted to YouTube. You should get an email if you registered through our webpage, an email with that link for the YouTube video. But and Jim, I can follow up with you and make sure that you have that. And then aside from battery changes, are there other serviceable parts that may need future service? Marty asks.
I'll take that question. I think that's a yes, no answer. Some of the lock sets, like the cylindrical and mortise lock sets, yes, you'd be able to buy components for. Other ones like the cabinet lock, you're probably not going to be able to buy components for. So it just kind of depends on which product that you're talking about.
And I'll add to that, like with the ES100 wireless strike, that reader strike combination is one unit. They need to go together, you know, so you can't rip off the reader and go use it somewhere else. So
that was done so that there was encryption between the reader and the strike, so somebody couldn't just knock off the reader and try to gain access.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, folks. Thank you both, Brandon and Tom, for your time today. It is wow, we're past 15 minutes. 15 minutes flew by. Appreciate your time. Next week, the 25th of March is Building on Solutions or Building Automation is going to be doing a series or a little seminar on IoT. What the heck is that? Cameron will be our speaker, and with our manufacturing partner KMC. There's my contact information, but like I said, everybody should receive an email with this YouTube video link in there, and for your viewing pleasure after the fact. So thank you everyone today for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you. And
Thanks,
you, Brandon.
everyone.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Erica.
All right. Bye-bye.